But the HIV/AIDS problem is hitting people's lives everywhere in the most dramatic ways.
AIDS appears far too often to be a nightmare for most of us. And so it's very critical that one can think about it rationally. It's very important that one dreams about it in a way that says we can stop this epidemic.
The first thing that unions need to do is make sure that at all levels of their activism, people understand that AIDS is in danger of stealing workers' lives.
I think HIV/AIDS demands of us, all of us, not just trade unionists, that effort of solidarity.
I feel very strongly that the commitment that we need to make to adequately respond has to begin with us individually as human beings, because we shouldn't forget that we're talking about changing behavior, and it takes the person, the individual, to change behavior.
I think HIV/AIDS demands of us, all of us, not just trade unionists, that effort of solidarity.
Making that commitment is even much more important than committing funding is important, but making that personal commitment would amplify the money.
Many people say that promises are empty, but in our case in South Africa and in my personal case, the promises of many of my friends have saved my life. The promises that I try to make every day, I hope help stop HIV infections. I hope it gets people treatment. And I think that trade union leaders in particular have a job to protect their own workers, to protect themselves, to protect their countries from infection, from government leaders who are neglectful, from companies that profiteer from workers.
We all have to do more. Now, I don't ignore that good things are happening, important initiatives are being taken, many speeches are being made, but in the end, it's not enough. We need to do more to get prevention out there where it needs to be, to get the treatment that those affected have a right to demand of us. And we have a lot more to do in respect of having public health services provided, which can help turn back the epidemic. So we need to do a lot more.
I've seen many people make a difference, and at all levels, especially at community level. And I'm speaking as an African woman. I speak about a village, and I speak about an old woman who had 12 children and lost 8 of them to AIDS, and that becomes her trigger to make a difference in her village. The first thing she does is being open about the fact that her sons and daughters have died of AIDS, and that works as a ripple. And the ripple that I'm talking about, it opens the stigma, it opens the discussion within the village about the disease.
We can all do things personally. We all have children, grandchildren. The first thing we can do is not be afraid to talk about safe sex. We need to talk about what creates a disease that is robbing the world of children's lives and the lives of their parents.
I think there is something that I need to recommit and personally put my name to it, and that is opening opportunities for women. Because if we don't make a dent on the situation of women and girls today in the pandemic, forget about making a difference. So what I would like to commit personally is to append myself to any program, especially grassroots programs, that intend to change the subordinate roles of women and girls.
I have had friends who've died of AIDS, and I've visited them, I've cooked for them, I've sat with them, but most importantly, the promise I would make is the next time you know someone who's dying of AIDS, support the people who are closest to them, because it's incredibly hard to watch a friend or a partner or a family member die of a disease that could have been prevented.
My personal commitment is, so long as I am the General Secretary of the ICFTU, HIV/AIDS will stay at the top of the agenda. We will work with employers and we'll work with world leaders to make sure that trade unions do what we have to do, and that we provide and we use whatever influence that we have to make sure that others do what they should do as well.